Moderation in life is vital, even when doing good things. Kindness is a virtue celebrated across cultures and philosophies as an essential trait that promotes social harmony and individual well-being. It is often considered one of the cornerstones of moral character. However, according to the ancient philosophy of Stoicism, even virtues, when taken to an extreme, can become vices. This video delves into the Stoic perspective on excessive kindness, exploring the potential dangers it poses and providing insight into how one can strike a balance between kindness and wisdom. But before we begin, kindly take a minute to subscribe to the channel. I know I sound like a broken record, but it really helps the channel. Also, don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you can be alerted when we post a new video. We are on a journey to change our lives, and we would love for you to join us and become part of this family. We don't judge or discriminate, but we welcome everyone, regardless of their background, race, gender, or sexual orientation. We believe that transformation and wisdom are universal, and everyone should be given a fair chance to become who they want. We are a family. We are your family, and you are welcome. Let's get started. Before we see how being too kind is ruining your life, let's first try and understand how Stoicism views kindness. Stoicism views kindness as a virtue, a natural expression of living in accordance with reason and nature. It is not about expecting reciprocation or reward, but about acting in a way that is beneficial to others and ourselves. Kindness promotes social harmony and cooperation, reduces stress and promotes inner peace, improves physical health and well-being, makes us more resilient in the face of adversity, and can make the world a better place. To practice kindness, be mindful of your thoughts and words, be generous with your time, attention, and resources, be forgiving of others' mistakes, be patient with yourself and others, and be kind to animals and the environment. However, too much of something is detrimental and often yields negative results. Here are Stoic lessons why you should stop being too kind and set up healthy boundaries in your life. Lesson 1. Lack of discrimination. Excessive kindness often stems from an unwillingness to discriminate between deserving and undeserving recipients. In the words of Epictetus, a prominent Stoic philosopher, "If you wish to be a writer of great stories, do not give all your writing to those who write for the dead, for you may end up buried with them." In other words, Epictetus was saying that we should be careful not to waste our kindness on those who will not appreciate it or benefit from it. The lack of discrimination and excessive kindness can have a number of negative consequences. For example, if someone is excessively kind to everyone they meet, regardless of their character or actions, they may be taken advantage of by those who are not deserving of their kindness. This can lead to the kind person being hurt or exploited. In addition, excessive kindness can also enable bad behavior. For example, if someone is always willing to forgive others no matter what they do, they may be sending the message that their behavior is acceptable. This can make it more likely that the person will continue to behave badly. Finally, excessive kindness can also be a form of self-sacrifice. If someone is always putting the needs of others before their own, they may end up neglecting their own needs and well-being. This can lead to burnout, resentment, and other negative emotions. In real life, there are many examples of how excessive kindness can lead to negative consequences. For example, a parent who is always forgiving their child for misbehaving may be teaching the child that there are no consequences for their actions. This can lead the child to become more and more disobedient. Similarly, a friend who is always willing to lend money to others may find themselves being taken advantage of by people who are not planning on repaying the loan. In both of these cases, the kind person is enabling the bad behavior of others. By being more discriminating in their kindness, they could avoid these negative consequences. Of course, this does not mean that we should never be kind to others. However, it is important to be aware of the potential dangers of excessive kindness. By being more discerning in our kindness, we can ensure that it is truly beneficial to both ourselves and others. Lesson 2. Failure to set boundaries. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of setting boundaries and not allowing others to take advantage of one's kindness. Seneca, another notable Stoic, once said, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that they are difficult." Stoicism emphasizes the importance of setting boundaries in one's actions, even when it comes to kindness. Failing to establish and maintain these boundaries can result in others taking advantage of one's kindness. Seneca's quote underscores the Stoic perspective on courage and self-respect. Consider the example of a coworker who consistently asks for help with their work, taking advantage of your expertise and goodwill. Initially, you offer assistance willingly, but over time, the coworker becomes overly reliant on your support. This constant demand for help begins to affect your own productivity and well-being, creating resentment and stress. The Stoics would argue that in this situation, you've failed to set clear boundaries. Your excessive kindness, without proper limits, has led to negative consequences both for you and the coworker. By adhering to Stoic principles, one could have set boundaries and explained to the coworker that while you are willing to help, there should be a balance that respects both your own needs and the needs of others. This approach not only promotes your well-being, but also encourages the coworker to become more self-reliant and responsible. There are a number of ways to set boundaries. One way is to be clear about what you are willing to do and what you are not willing to do. For example, you might say to a colleague, "I'm happy to help you with your work, but I can only spare an hour this week." Another way to set boundaries is to say no to requests that you do not want to do. For example, you might say to a friend, "I'm not able to lend you money right now." It is also important to be assertive when setting boundaries. This means being clear and direct about your needs and wants. It also means being willing to stand up for yourself if someone tries to pressure you into doing something that you do not want to do. Setting boundaries can be difficult, but it is an important part of self-care. By setting boundaries, we can protect ourselves from being taken advantage of and ensure that we are taking care of our own needs. Lesson 3. Neglect of virtue. Excessive kindness can lead individuals to prioritize the feelings of others over the pursuit of virtuous action. Seneca cautioned when he said, "The good or ill of a man lies within his own will." In his words, he emphasized the Stoic idea that one's character should not be swayed by external factors. In other words, Seneca is saying that we should not allow our desire to be kind to others to prevent us from acting in accordance with virtue. This is because excessive kindness can lead us to neglect our own moral compass and make decisions that are not in line with our values. For example, a person who is excessively kind may be reluctant to speak out against injustice, even if they know it is the right thing to do. They may be afraid of hurting the feelings of the person who is committing the injustice, or they may simply want to avoid conflict. Similarly, a person who is excessively kind may be willing to give money to someone who is not truly in need. They may feel sorry for the person, or they may simply want to avoid the guilt of saying no. In both of these cases, the person's desire to be kind is leading them to make decisions that are not in line with their values. They are prioritizing the feelings of others over their own moral compass. Another example is a person who is deeply committed to environmental conservation. They regularly donate to environmental organizations and participate in local initiatives to reduce pollution. However, when their close friends mock their commitment, suggesting that environmental causes are unimportant, they begin to waver in their dedication. They compromise their values and convictions to gain the approval of others. In this scenario, the Stoics would argue that the individual is neglecting their virtue by allowing external opinions to influence their actions. Instead, a Stoic approach would involve remaining steadfast in one's commitment to virtuous actions, irrespective of the opinions or pressures of others. It is important to remember that Stoicism does not advocate a lack of compassion or kindness, but but encourages aligning one's acts of kindness with the pursuit of virtue, ensuring that one's character remains unwavering and true to their principles. It is important to remember that kindness is a virtue, but it is not the only virtue. We also have a responsibility to act in accordance with our values, even when it is not easy. By doing so, we can live a more fulfilling and meaningful life. Lesson 4: Inner turmoil. When individuals are excessively kind, they may neglect their own needs and well-being, leading to inner turmoil and potential resentment. This goes against Stoic principles of self-care and self-discipline. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of living in harmony with nature. This means accepting the things that are outside of our control and focusing on the things that are within our control. One of the things that is within our control is our own well-being. When we are excessively kind, we may neglect our own needs in order to meet the needs of others. This can lead to a number of negative consequences such as stress and burnout. When we are constantly putting the needs of others before our own, we can become stressed and burned out. This can lead to physical and mental health problems. Resentment. When we feel like we are giving more than we are getting, we can start to resent the people we are being kind to. This can damage our relationships with others. Guilt. If we say no to someone's request, we may feel guilty. This can make us feel like we are not being kind enough. All of these negative consequences can lead to inner turmoil. We may feel like we are not living up to our own standards of kindness. We may also feel like we are not taking care of ourselves. A person who is excessively kind may work long hours at their job, even when they are exhausted. They may do this because they do not want to let their colleagues down. A person who is excessively kind may volunteer for every charity that asks them for help. They may do this because they feel guilty saying no. A person who is excessively kind may always say yes to their friends' requests, even when they do not have time. They may do this because they do not want to disappoint their friends. In all of these cases, the person is neglecting their own needs in order to be kind to others. This is likely to lead to inner turmoil in the long run. Stoicism teaches us that it is important to be kind to others. However, it also teaches us that it is important to take care of ourselves. We cannot be truly kind to others if we are not also kind to ourselves. By practicing self-care and self-discipline, we can learn to be kind to others without neglecting our own needs. This will help us to avoid the negative consequences of excessive kindness and live a more fulfilling life. Stoicism encourages the pursuit of wisdom as the guiding principle for one's actions, including the practice of kindness. The Stoic approach to kindness involves the following: practicing mindful kindness. Stoics believe in practicing kindness with intention and mindfulness. Seneca advised, "Begin at once to live, and count each separate day as a separate life." This means that kindness should be a deliberate and reasoned choice, not a blind or thoughtless response to every request. Practice discernment. Stoicism encourages individuals to exercise discernment when deciding whom to assist. This aligns with the idea of wisdom being the primary virtue. Epictetus famously stated, "Do not try to seem wise to others. If you do, you will be foolish." Focus on self-kindness. Stoics emphasize the importance of taking care of oneself before helping others. Epictetus urged, "He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has." This implies that by taking care of one's own well-being, one can better serve others. Let's conclude the video. Stoicism offers a unique perspective on the potential dangers of excessive kindness. While kindness is a virtue, the Stoics warn against its unchecked practice, which can lead to discrimination, lack of boundaries, neglect of virtue, and inner turmoil. The Stoic solution lies in practicing kindness with discernment and wisdom, with a focus on self-care and self-discipline. By balancing kindness with reason, individuals can navigate the complex interplay between personal well-being and the well-being of others, ultimately achieving the Stoic goal of eudaimonia. In the words of the Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one.